In September, Tulsa's Joy Harjo will officially be introduced at the Library of Congress as our nation's first Native American Poet Laureate. She also becomes the first Oklahoman named to that prestigious post. And since that announcement in June, she has been deluged with requests for appearances and interviews, including one from us.
Time stops and holds me close.
Time stopped for Joy Harjo when she took the call from Carla Hayden, the first African-American woman to be named Librarian of Congress.
We want you to be our 23rd U.S. Poet Laureate. And I thought, okay, my body never lies, and then it just shot. I mean, what do you do with that? I felt this bolt of electricity go through me.
Harjo relies on what she calls her inner spirit to guide her in making life-changing decisions. But saying yes to that offer was pretty easy.
It's honoring poetry in America. You know, it's honoring, and particularly because they've made I'm the first Native person, Muskogee Creek Nation citizen, yay. It's a doorway. It also honors Indigenous people, and it honors Tulsa and Oklahoma. You know, it's something I see for all of us.
Harjo published her first book of poetry, She Had Some Horses, in 1982, and her 7th volume, An American Sunrise, will be released this fall. Harjo says she frankly did not have the time to produce the new work, but her inner spirit told her otherwise.
And I'm standing there looking out at the trees and lands that were stolen from our people. Beautiful, beautiful country. And my spirit said, you know, what did you learn when you were here? That was the question that came up. What did you learn when you were here? We make our way through storm and sun. We walk side by side or against each other. The last road will be taken alone. There might be crowds calling for blood or a curtained window by the leaving bed. It is best to not be afraid.
Harjo herself faced many fears growing up. She had a strained relationship with her parents as a teenager, and when she became a parent herself, she was pressured to give up her chosen career.
I was a single mother raising 2 children. I was working, I had a job, and I couldn't do all of it. But you can imagine people tried to dissuade me. I mean, I went to school in pre-med, and then when I changed my major to poetry, people were, how can you do that? And how in the world are you going to make a living with children on poetry?
The answer to that question, poetry has provided a good living and a rich and rewarding life.
Now, I had some Lakota in-laws, and they said that it was probably a wedding for a wedding. We all know when we're on the right path, and we know when we're not. And sometimes the right path may look insane to somebody else. But it was poetry, and I had to go. It's like it pulled me, and it was compelling, and I had to take that path.
A path that has long included a renewed interest in music, which she combines with her poetry in live performances. Harjo has released 5 acclaimed albums. Not bad for somebody who first picked up a saxophone in her late 30s.
I went to junior high, Cleveland Junior High, and the band teacher said girls can't play sax because they needed sax players. So, you know, I walked away from music. Around that time, I used to sing a lot, and my stepfather forbid me to sing because I found it so joyful. So I walked away. And then when I was almost 40, I picked up a horn, and the horn brought me back to singing.
She is a woman of the brand new day.
Years later, Harjo discovered that her grandmother had played the saxophone in Indian Territory before Oklahoma became a state. Other ancestors include Muskogee Creek leaders and principal chiefs, all skilled speakers.
Lift your attention for the appearance of the next road. It might be through a family of trees, a desert, or on rolling waves of sea. It's the ancient road the soul knows. We always remember it when we see it. It beckons at birth. It carries us home.
Poetry has carried Joy Harjo to the pinnacle of her profession, and as she assumes her role as our nation's Poet Laureate, she says the art form is enjoying a resurgence in popularity.
Poetry's on the upswing. The sales of poetry books have gone way up. People go to poetry. It has a place. You can hold anything in a poem. You can hold grief, anger, fury, love, questions. You can hold, a poem could be a whole question that you can't ask directly. It can hold so much, and that's why we go to them for birth and death, marriage, falling in love, falling out of love, any of those turning points.